what I was doing. It was a really good conversation. But to start this off, just to tell you about who I am, a little bit about Untapped Solutions. A lot of you may not have heard about us, or you may know us from our old name, Connect. So a little bit about me and the company is, one, I'm the founder and CEO of Untapped Solutions. I'm a justice impact individual. I did 5 years in a New York State prison. After that, went through all the reentry journey that I'm not going to go over and tell you all about. We know what that looks like and feels like. But I then founded this company called Connect. This was a job board for the formerly incarcerated, right, where employers can get on post jobs, and right, if they post jobs for a bank teller, it wouldn't get shown to a bank robber. That's how the technology worked. It's really innovative, very simple, but it didn't solve the issue of what we knew needed to happen. Better case management, better services, not say better services, faster outcomes for individuals that need those things. So we became a case management platform. We're funded by Google, so Google's our lead investor. We are a Google company. Decarceration Fund is our second lead investor. They're a national fund that funds anything related to decarceration. And there's Robinhood, which is the largest foundation in the United States, which gives out the most capital for anything that's tech-enabled that can end poverty. Those are our three funders. So we are funded by philanthropic groups that help us grow nationally and help us do our impact. So I'm gonna go into the importance of data today, not really telling you all about Untapped Solutions. This slide is to really tell you why data is important, what we do with data as an organization, what you can do with data as an organization, and how Untapped Solutions can potentially help you. Tiffany, thank you. So you all know what customer, client, participant, any of those things is today. So Untapped Solutions, what do we do? We're not just a system that sort of like stores data for organizations. We actually don't believe just storing data, being able to see your clients are 30% black, 20% Spanish, 15% white, then the outcomes gives you enough information. It really doesn't. What happens to your clients when they leave your organization 6 months down the line, a year later? Most organizations get access to maybe 10%, if that, of those clients a year later. Then they quantify the data to sort of predict what happens. At Untapped Solutions, we refer to customer-client relationships as the full journey of the client. What happens now with the client, what happens later, what happens down the entire journey. You can go down to the next slide for me. So why is it important? Why is databases important? Why do we think it's important? You're not able to evaluate your programs. As we all see, we saw large organizations that get $50 to $100 million have the same programs for 10 to 20 years. Those programs don't change time over time. Why? Because they use data to just sort of like, hey, we've solved this much impact, we've had this many issues, we weren't able to get 70% of our alumni to give us data, so we're just gonna make up some numbers and crunch some things. We feel like the importance of customer relationships, it empowers nonprofits to comprehend client preferences, behaviors, and needs, leading to a personalized, so I like to say the word personalized. Our system across the nation takes your client information and it personalizes each case plan so you don't have to. And when I say personalizes each case plan, it understands your client needs, from this client being 24, 6 years of state prison, currently homeless. They can have the gamut of any other things, and what it does is it grabs the services that client needs and automates a case plan by not just giving you a paper that says, here's all the service providers. It connects with those service providers, talks to them, takes your client and walks them through that journey. That's the importance of customer relationship and how we think organizations should use data. You can go to the next one. So the benefits of streamlined communication. So streamlined communication to us is not really being able to say, hey, my system is telling me that my client has a need. I'm gonna send an email to the other community partner in Florida or in Arizona, in Texas, where I'm at. What we believe streamlined communication is at Untapped is the moment that our system, or we talk to a client and they say that they have a need, this system automates by talking to the nearest provider automatically. You don't push anything, you don't push a button, and it solidifies that need for you, for your client. Why is this important? Not just for the client, because there's no way in hell all of you can handle the amount of people that need help. There's 500,000 people that come home that are, that we know the numbers already. Let's just talk about homeless numbers. Let's talk about mental health numbers. Let's talk about all of that, put it together, and let's talk about the 1.3 million caseworkers in the United States. You can't beat the amount of numbers of people that need help. So technology and data is gonna be your best friend. So again, streamlining communications to other nonprofits, to other employers who you talk with, that's the number one fact. Data-driven insights is not being able, again, to look at your system and say, these are the amount of clients I have, 40% need homelessness. That's really smart, we're clever, we're gonna build more homeless programs. That's not data-driven insights to us. Data-driven insights to us is saying, okay, we need homeless programs, cool, let's build these homeless programs and let's look at the data a year down the line of what happens with those homeless programs. And when we see the data of 60% of these people didn't sort of get through that program all the way, let's use the data to build a program to help those kind of individuals. right? Let's have all this kind of data living in our system, but as a nonprofit, maybe that's hard. Maybe we have to hire an impact manager, a data analytics person. That's more capital that you probably don't have. Our system just puts it all together like that for you anyway. Gives you current program data, tells you about future programs you should probably be building based on the current problems and issues you're having now. So those are the kind of insights you probably want, whether you're in a correctional facility setting, you're parole, probation, or most importantly, you're in a nonprofit setting, you're that person, you're the person that a person sees when they first come home. Enhance your client services. Data is only good to enhance your client services if it's automated. If you're looking at data again, and it's telling you just about the needs of your client, and you're emailing another provider down the street who's already overwhelmed, or another caseworker in another community who has an overwhelming caseload, that doesn't solve the problem. Again, finding a system now that can find you available caseworkers, available social workers, somebody where your client can get service now, that's an enhanced service outcome. It is not enhanced when we use traditional databases and we just write an email or a fax and we said, okay, I got the client referred. That's not powerful. Tiffany, can we go to the next one? Thank you. So the key components: interaction traction, customer segmentation. I call them customers. We all know, I put that because everybody I speak to, it's either clients, participants, volunteers. I don't want to use the fair words, so I just said I'll use customers. Interaction tracking. Interaction is every time that these people are outside of your hands, because you can't have them 40 hours a week. You work 40 hours a week doing multiple different things, whether it's client facing, whether it's in your computer, or whatever you're doing to run your organization. Therefore, what happens when your client's outside in the streets, in the neighborhood, with another nonprofit, or just in their everyday life? What we've done at Untapped Solutions, we built something called the client journey. Your client gets their nice little login on their phone, because where's their phone gonna be? With them 24/7. Therefore, we're tracking their entire journey, communicating it back to you from when they go for a walk, they do apply to jobs, from when they take other programs that you probably didn't recommend, if they go do education, if they go, their income changes, if they don't live with their girlfriend anymore and they actually just stepped up and they got their own apartment. As those changes happen in their life, that means something's happening from your program. Either your program's affecting them positive, or if nothing's happening in their life, then that's actually good data for you all to see too as well. Our system gives you those kind of interactions. There's no other system that is actually giving you that. We are the first system. We use Google technology to do that, if you're all wondering. And of course, as we meet, we have community teams that will show you how this stuff works too as well. Customer segmentation, your client segmentation, automatically being able to segment your clients and stop putting everybody in sort of that same boat, or saying, okay, because they're in program A, they are like the other clients who are in program A. Every person should be treated different, every placement should be different, but when you think of that, you probably think of there's gonna be a lot more work on you to be able to do. Using AI and machine learning, something that we are probably not familiar with in this room, or if we are, maybe we're worried about it, we're scared, or we don't know what it's really gonna do. One thing we've done is, I'm gonna make sure we said this first, we sign in our clause, when we use AI, it is not to store, sell, or share data. We use it solely to train data to make better outcomes for caseworkers working with their clients. So we segment all of your clients and give them individualized case plans. And as your outcomes come, we then put those together to see which clients were similar, so you can build better programming, so you can have better data. But every single client, the moment you add Andre to Jane Doe to John Doe in our system, is individualized, and it's all automatic. You're not gonna have to write things in and fill in templates, send them forms. The system is very smart. Tiffany, go to the next one. Strategy alignment. The system's gonna align with your strategy. It understands what you're doing. We understand the kind of people you're trying to serve. Most of you are all serving formerly incarcerated, or maybe you're serving homeless or other demographics. So our system's not just about case management or helping you store data. We wanna get aligned with your strategy of figuring out who do you wanna reach, how do you wanna reach these people? Is it in a correction setting where you need to get them from, or do you like to get your people from outside and they can walk into your place? So we have this thing called digital outreach. Right? It's a perfect thing to align with your strategy. We have a community of 300,000 formerly incarcerated people across the United States. Our system is across all 50 states inside correctional facilities on tablets. And what we do with that information, what we do with those kind of people when they sign on, is they go through registration. Just like LinkedIn. If we're all familiar with LinkedIn, it's like LinkedIn for this population. They put their needs in. So if they need reentry, if they need housing, now they populate in our system for you. Our system automatically invites them, saying, hey, this organization has just invited you to their reentry services, bringing you new clients every day, every week, every month, based on how often you want that. So it does the outreach for you. Why? So you don't have to go build a community outreach team. We're in 2024, standing in parole and talking about your services is probably not the most beneficial. It's probably, and I don't really remember those outcomes being good because I was one of those individuals sitting in parole, not listening to people because I was already tired of sitting in parole already, right? This is the real deal stuff. This is what's happening. The way to reach people, not just the youth, even adults, they're on their phone. They all have social media. You will find them there. We will help you get aligned with those kind of strategies. When it comes to funders, when it comes to grant, one of the most important things here for us to actually do all of this work, our system does that. We know where the philanthropic dollar's at based off the size of your organization. And as I'll show a screenshot, we now have something that pulls in that information for you. So when these grants come out, I spoke to a lot of you here and was telling you about like different organizations we've gotten funded for. And they were like, I didn't know about that. We're a for-profit company. They have more money for nonprofits than they do actually for us. And we pull that information so you guys can get that too as well. We use AI to even complete your application for you. If, you know, just like when you guys, we know your company information, your funding, we know the team, and all that good stuff. Data migration and integration. A lot of you here probably say, well, damn, I'm on a case management system already. This guy's probably gonna want me to leave my system. I'm not here to tell you to leave your system. We're not here to sell you another software. We already know organizations such as Center for Employment Opportunity, OIC of America. You may be large, you may be small, you may be deeply integrated into Salesforce, Apricot, that's all right and that's cool. We talk to all of those systems so you don't have to leave those systems. Meaning when Jane Doe is unemployed in Apricot, our system will grab Jane Doe, get her an Untapped Solutions profile, get her employed, and you will track her interview right there in Untapped Solutions. And when she gets employed, Apricot will get updated that she's now employed. Hopefully that all makes sense for you all, but we talk to all systems. We share, the data gets shared based on how you all want that data to get shared too as well, because it's important that you don't duplicate, that you're not duplicating efforts. We know what that looks like in nonprofits. I've spoken to orgs that use 9 different systems, and it's not, there's no need for those. I don't even know why or how you can use 9 different systems, but that's the real game of some kind of nonprofits. Staff training and adoption. Reason I put staff training and adoption, nonprofits, and I'll say this right, 42% of nonprofits we speak to out of a company that has 6,732 nonprofits on board, 42% feared adoption of new technology or technology in any way, you know, it's gonna slow down operations or any of these things. I wanna say this just for anybody who thinks that in the room. When you implement technology, a lot of times it is hard to use, but at the end of the day, technology is always gonna be the thing that leads every industry across the country. And re-entry is an industry, whether you wanna believe that or not. Recidivism is an industry, whether you guys wanna believe that or not. Technology is gonna run this industry eventually, and we tell everybody, adopt it now, because if you're not serving your clients with technology in any way, shape, or form, and you know you're still in the pen and paper effort, your organization's only gonna grow but so fast, meaning your impact is only gonna be but so big. So training and adoption of technology, implementing your team, having team efforts, spending time with your organization, talk about how we use technology in every area of the org is a very smart conversation. It's not a conversation you should actually stem away from or think, hey, how much is this gonna cost? What organizations should be thinking, hey, if this is gonna cost us $20,000 a year, who are we not gonna have to hire now? What role are we about to try to build to solve this issue that's gonna cost us $60,000 to $80,000 a year, right? It's not always about, hey, Andre, this guy sounds like he's trying to replace people. No, we're trying to make sure we can save clients at a different scale that just hasn't been done before, right? We can go to the next slide. Thank you, Tiffany. Best practices for effective use. Centralized data. Again, talking about those 9 to 10 systems that everybody's like working off, or even if you're working off 2, 3 systems, sometimes if you're a homeless shelter, you're working off HIMSS, it's a requirement, right? But then you may have your regular database. That's okay, that's normal, we get those situations. But situations where you have 2, 3 systems where they're not required, your data is not centralized. You have a data person trying to put all that together. You need to focus on some type of tool that puts all that data in one system for you, and not just puts it all, but aggregates the data to tell you something. Or you're depending on, again, a human being to put all these things together, get burnt out, and then tell you the best efforts of thousands of clients you serviced over the years, or hundreds of clients you serviced over the months, or if you're a smaller org, the dozens of clients you're serving. A tool can centralize your data, aggregate this for you, and you can have a human being that then can tell you the results on where you need to go as an organization. Workflows. I don't know, we all know what workflows mean. A lot of our workflows are manual when it comes to like how we search jobs, how do we look for services for clients. Oh, this client needs this, I'm gonna like go on Google, or I know a provider already, or I know an employer already. That still is time that you have to do things. You have to get up, email, you have to call somebody, you have to do all that stuff. Your next client's waiting, and the client you don't know about is already on their way to you. They're looking at the release date, and you don't even know they're coming. For you to stop that and for you to actually reach more people, that all those people actually say, okay, as a caseworker, as a nonprofit staff, I have a fighting chance at ending recidivism, there's only one way. Workflows around technology, meaning the moment you identify a client as unemployed, where's the technology now in 2024 that goes get them a job automatically? It's 2024, it's out there for us now. Employers are, somebody said it yesterday, Kenyatta, I'm gonna throw you out there, that, and I agree with you. You said there's no problem with you finding employers. You got good employer partners, you got a long relationship, and I feel the same way. I have 1,400 employers on this platform that I do business with, and they post jobs, and I talk to not all 1,400 of them, but I talk to enough of them to know that there's a lot of fair chance employers out there, and this system is now set up for you to just click Andre's unemployed, and it puts them on a journey, and you can go focus on Jane and all the other clients who need your help. So it's all about workflows and automation, and we can go to the next slide up, Tiffany. And this is a screenshot of what the system looks like. Reason I'll tell you why we're giving you guys a screenshot today of what this looks like, but as you can see, that we have, these are on the client screen. You see that this says refer to service jobs. That's one click of a button. So the moment that I say Lois Lawley needs a job and I click on job, every fair chance job in the United States, whatever state you're in, populates on our platform, and your client is now on a job journey, and you're able to track that entire interview. You click on service, and look, whatever service you have under Lawley, whether she's homeless, you click on service, her service needs will pop up with actual human beings on the back end. So this is not gonna send your client to a website, another link or anything. This is a human being that picks your client up because we're integrated. Yep.
When it populates the jobs for that specific individual,
Yeah.
does that go within a certain radius of what their zip code is or what their living area is?
The filters are keywords, certifications you give as a nonprofit. So if you guys are doing OSHA, you put OSHA, so it finds OSHA, then you can put state, zip code too as well. Right, and when employers sign on, they put who they're here to hire. Formerly incarcerated, homeless, BIPOC, Latinx, they have those kind of filters. If they do not want second, what we call formerly incarcerated justice impacted, you won't see the employer there. They're just as simple as that. But what we just want to get to the point of is systems being built these days to focus on the work you do and not a Salesforce kind of system that was made for sales that says, I'll put a little effort into nonprofits because I know they want data so they can grow. But a system that actually says, okay, I know you got a bunch of clients here and you're about to have to go through some shit with them, so let me help you out real quick, right? And then you got your companies, your donors, your volunteers, to bring your team, all the other stuff that those other systems do, right? Any questions on this so far? I'll stop here. No, good.
Yeah.
If you can go to the next one. What's going on, brother?
So on the system itself, when you talk about reviewing the entry, is this one of those, I'm trying to understand the
Yeah.
platform. Can the returning citizens actually do that? Is that platform cost based upon the number of people choosing it? Or is this just for management or the employees actually entering this information?
So three-sided platform. You as an organization can get on. You can upload your caseload and all that stuff and refer your clients. Can you go back to the screen real quick?
Sure.
So this is how it looks for a nonprofit organization, parole, anybody get in. You can refer your clients to jobs and services. If you feel like your client's a go-getter, you don't need to refer them. You see how this person down here is this green little button? That's because they have an untapped solutions profile. It means you felt this client should have their own profile. Now they have a login too. It looks like LinkedIn for them. Doesn't look like this, and they can apply to those jobs and services themselves. As they get a job themselves, the data goes back to you. So in case they get employed, you'll know that they get the minute that they get the job offer, you'll know. The employer has their own login. It looks different. It's less stuff. It's basically just where they post jobs, and they can connect with their applicant tracking system.
Okay.
Cool. You can go to the next one. So I know you guys love to see this. So this is what a lot of organizations, a lot of people look like, right? After I don't know how many years it takes to look like this, but this is real stuff. For real, like we can stay here, right? We've seen these faces. We know what this is. So I put this in here today. I asked Tiffany, please update this because I thought about it. And I said I got to bring some humor to this, but this is actually not really that humoristic because it's actually real deal stuff. And this is a nonprofit setting, a children's center, and she's burnt out. She looks real young, so I don't even want to say that. It took her about 20 years to get like that. Or we can go there. And I know a lot of nonprofits think like, or I want to just say we call you guys client-driven organizations because it's not just nonprofits in the game. It's government agencies. It's all these different people that are in the game. So we call you guys internally client-driven organizations. We can go there as client-driven organizations. We can be behind a laptop getting a lot of our work done. I'm 100% as a just impact individual that the human touch is needed. I need conversation with you all. I need to be able to talk with you, but you don't all need to do everything for me. I also need to become dependent. I also need to do a lot of this on my own, or we're gonna end up with the numbers we all see today. So I thank all my caseworkers who are not in the room who let me be dependent, because I had some that, you know, did my applications for me and I was being lazy. I was like, oh, okay, you're gonna do it for me, right? And I would just go sit up. And I'm happy that I didn't go that way. So technology is the way for you to get done, sit across your client, you know, do what needed to be done in person, but when that in-person time is not needed, you know, you gotta send them on a job journey and get their services all through tech, because the next client is already waiting and the client we don't know about is already coming, right? And that's just the game of incarceration. Go to the next slide. Everybody in this room, for you guys can thank not me, thank Rosetta. You scan this, you have to scan this now, take 5 minutes to fill this out, you all will get 2 months free of the technology. If you are a grassroots org, meaning if you are just starting out, we have free technology for all grassroots orgs that are under a certain threshold, and if you're over a certain threshold, it's still very cheap. So we're talking 20 bucks a month, 30 bucks a month kind of plans. If you're an enterprise org, we will talk with you, but you will still get 2 months free. Parole, probation, any of those things. This will give you access to 180,000 jobs. Obviously, that's across the country, so based on which states you're in, those will vary. I want to assume a lot of you guys are from the states that we are really heavy in. So as we see those come in over the course of this presentation, somebody will reach out, give you guys a code. It will say NARP event, put it in. You don't have to put credit card information in, so don't think we're going to want that so you can cancel your plan. It will just give you 2 months to all the premium stuff, and you guys can try it out, test it, and see if you like it. Yes.
So if I'm just getting released and I heard about your platform while I was in, and I decided to go on there on my own, do I have to pay for that as an individual who is just being released from prison or from jail? Or how does that work for that individual?
No. So how it works for them is, one, they can find us through, majority is word of mouth, right? Like literally just people coming home, either a org tells them about us, like who's not really using us, but there's a champ in your group, like, hey, like, you know, about Untapped Solutions, get on, they sign up, very simple experience. Ask them a couple questions, right? Are you justice impacted? You have the option to put your what we call past mistake in. You can put your past mistake, and that's the hardest information we ask you, right? Like, put your past mistake, and we tell you, we just want to be able to analyze what kind of jobs we can get you and cannot get you. And once they're in the platform, they can go from services to jobs, and we're going to spend a lot of money this year to build out what their side looks like, to do plans, let them have all these things, but we have resume builders and all that stuff inside now.
Nice.
Any other questions so far?
Are they good to our site?
Say that again?
Are they good to our site and find you?
Yes, I was going to say that because I saw Matt. And Matt from Core Civic, they can also go to Core Civic's program. That I know we all know who Core Civic is, right in there. Core Civic works with us. They have a great partnership. They can go to Core Civic's website and actually get through to Untapped Solutions too as well.
GoFurtherConnect.com.
So GoFurtherConnect.com. When you go there, we work with Core Civic to get that website empowered with fair chance jobs and services. People get to go to that site as they leave out Core Civic facilities, and maybe other ways Core Civic works with them. And as they get on our platform, they have access to Untapped Solutions too as well. So that's also another way. And I know you guys are heavy out here too as well in Tennessee, right, Matt? Yeah. So and that's a beautiful partnership, and that we're really proud to have. And we announced it, I want to say about 2 weeks ago on LinkedIn too as well. Are you all good on like scanning this? Everybody's straight? Cool. I don't even know if there's what's going on, brother?
That's a miss. You're speaking of individuals coming out of prison.
Yes.
I joined in this, and then you mentioned $30 a month.
Oh, no, not for an individual coming out of prison. No, for an organization. Organization. We don't, so in our clause, to make it clear, in our clause in contract, we never will charge a formerly, what we call an untapped individual, formerly incarcerated, recently homeless. You sign on as that, from that side of the platform, you can't buy anything anyway. There's nothing that you can buy. It's all about you getting jobs, services, and everything is free for you. For nonprofits, we have just recently done with Google. We understand that there's a lot of grassroots and small orgs who need data to scale and grow. We just made a very great CRM for them that, you know, based on your threshold of funding, it's either going to be free or very discounted too as well. And we have another partner in the room who's utilizing that, Rebecca Davis, and a couple other people that didn't come in here. But this is just actually a new system that actually came out. And not talking about the whole Untapped Solutions, but we call that grassroots CRM. It does a lot of what I showed you all today, but we understand you probably don't need everything because you're a smaller org, and that's just ranges from $20 to about $40 a month, depending on your threshold. If you're under like $50,000 in funding or 25,000, it's free, right? If you don't have that, then that's completely free. And then for employers, we charge them to post their jobs on our platform too as well, which is where most of our revenue comes in from as a company.
Yeah, so the individual coming up for prison will not come to you.
Yes, they will. They will come to us. So once they get a phone, so the majority, right, so 68% now is word of mouth. They get out of prison and somebody in their community is telling them about us, whether it's their local nonprofit or their friend who's already on Untapped. The second largest way that, and remember Untapped users are the formerly incarcerated. The second way we get Untapped users is nonprofits uploading their, when they like are, they're, every time they add a client, they can give them an Untapped Solutions profile. And organizations such as First Step Staffing, the largest staffing agency in the US, right, they are one of our biggest contracts. They upload almost 5,000 people a year, every 6 months to the system. So when they upload those 5,000 people, that gives us 5,000 new people we get to offer opportunity to, right? So it's either nonprofits uploading their spreadsheets of clients and they want to give them profiles, or clients come to our system directly to get on Untapped.
So I'm in Washington State,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tell individuals about you.
Yeah, and you're with an organization, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're with an organization, just give me a little bit more about your organization. You guys, what's the size of the org?
Transitional
House.
Transitional housing. Cool. So I did work release. It was like transitional housing back in New York. For you guys, case study, what we see, so like Edgecombe in New York State, their transitional housing, how they use our platform is, one, if you guys are giving people cell phones, I want to assume everybody has a cell phone, you guys can get on the system, upload your clients, all your clients will now have access to the system, Untapped Solutions, and you'll be able to track everything. Either you can be referring them to jobs and services that they need automated, and you guys don't have to do that anymore. You can focus on other things. Or your second option is to give it to your clients who you know are go-getters, right? I call them go-getters. They're gonna go look on their own once you give them access to this opportunity that they never knew existed. And as they get a job on their own, you don't have to worry about asking them if they got it. The system will tell you, hey, your client, Andre Peart, Jane Doe, just scored a job at Lowe's for whatever position.
Hi, we're a nonprofit in Jacksonville, and we're new to Untapped, and we also utilize it like for our case manager. When she meets with our clients individually, she's able to go in and type the notes, and then I'm able to see them, from an executive director standpoint if I need to. So that's another way. We use it for the employment side as well as to track our case management.
Any other questions? What's going on?
I think I have two questions.
Yeah, what's up?
So the first one being, what kinds of like privacy stuff are individuals
Great
like that
question.
are coming to us?
Mhm.
What are there forms and stuff already provided so that we would be able to let them know exactly how their information is being shared with Untapped?
Gotcha, yeah. So I'll answer that first question for you. Cool, so the moment that a client, let's just talk about the Untapped users, signs on, right, and we all probably got some type of social network thing like those check boxes, we let them know right then and there what their information is going to be used for, but none of their information is ever sold, shared, or done anything with, so I want to make that clear, right? Also, I got a record filing crime. I don't want my information shared at all. So I'm the founder of the company. I still have a majority stake, though all those big names we saw, I make the decision. So that data gets stored just for program, for example. She's a female, she has this kind of record, and we know that Ladies of Hope Ministry, our other partners, only wants ladies with this crime, so we can match her efficiently to this service. That's what the technology does. From an organization standpoint, you all adding a client, when you add the client, we put it back in your client's hand. So you add Andre Peart to the system, Andre gets that text message that your name is? Ashley just sent you an invite to Untapped Solutions. And now she has to opt in, not forced, right? When she opts in, that form goes back to, you're going here to find jobs and services, your record, if you input, will be used for this and that is it. As far as the other type of privacy, SOC 2, HIPAA compliant, built on Google software and Amazon software. Google and Amazon are investors, but Google's a lead, so we don't put Amazon there because they're competitors. But we're still built on all those frameworks, and those are not just like, hey, we're built on AWS, like built with them and through them, right? These companies. So our privacy, very secure, very tight, and we've never had any issues as of yet.
Right. Well, I appreciate
You have a W-9?
Say that again?
You have a W-9?
Yes, we do.
I just wanna make sure I don't get with this, so I can get a copy.
Yeah, definitely. And any other questions? That means I did a good job.
Do you have a workaround? Say if the system goes down, what is your workaround? If the
Yeah, an
system-
offline mode. So we have an offline mode. So offline mode, just to give you, that was a good question too, I never even asked that. The offline mode for everybody, like if the system ever goes down, the only thing that stops is referrals to out-of-state employers, but all your local employers, because you're local, you still can communicate in offline mode. You can still do progress notes, but you can't do referrals like out-of-state. Actually, it's out of your city, out of your city, you cannot do referrals. And that's the only thing that goes down, just out-of-city referrals to jobs, to services. But you can still do the important things, like like Rebecca said, if I still met with Andre and I need to document that, that's not gonna stop, that will work in offline mode.
Offline, okay.
Good question. Any other questions? Yes?
Have you ever had employers say, hey, I'm game for it, we're gonna hire felons, and then say, I've changed my mind, it's not working out?
Yeah. Actually, I've not had that situation. I've had a similar situation to where an employer said, "Hey, yeah, I'm great. I'm all in for this. This is great. This was a little bit of this probably was just 6 months ago. Perfect example. I don't know if who's from Tennessee, but Doors of Hope. They're Tennessee.
That's where I work for.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. What's your name?
Casey?
Casey. Cool. So I'm gonna use you guys as an example.
Yes.
Great. So one of your clients got on a job interview with a college, right?
Yes.
And they got denied that job because and when we spoke to that employer, we said, hey, what happened? He said, second chance jobs. Immediately I got on the call with them. They said, yeah, I made a mistake. I didn't put the violent crime thing, I can't have them on the college campus. I want drug dealers, he said. So we said, okay, great, we got the fix here. And then I think we released a feature for you to insert your crime now instead of just putting justice impacted, so that never can happen again. So that's the closest we had, right? Like most employers, we educate them enough, but we do understand that some will say, I'll take the violent crime, but they gotta be off it's not up to me now, like letting them on this college campus and work here. Or if it is a violent crime, let's just, nothing like burglary, or like if it was, hopefully nobody got hurt, those kind of violent crimes or something like that. But the bad thing about background check companies, like going to them now, anytime a violent crime comes up, employer says violent crime, oh shit, cool. They just automatically see in their head somebody dying, right? That's just it. So as far as what we do now, say, okay, let's build out that add crime feature. When you add the crime, hopefully this makes it better, and our AI will take the prediction and think, okay, this was a burglary. Verizon's jobs for installing modems probably should go down because they're not going to want this guy with burglary in this 65-year-old lady's house, right? It's not going to be good to them. So yes, perfect example. Pleasure to meet you two in person. And Doors of Hope is another one of our partners too as well. They use our tool called Life Path Navigator, which is just the referrals, being able to refer clients and track their life journey. Great, I will definitely talk with you after.
Yes, for sure.
Yes?
Question for you. So when you're getting client data, you're only getting it from the client or from the entity that's serving the client?
I say the
right?
universe, everybody. The client puts in things such as only like their needs, their skills, certifications, and then as their needs get met by the organization, that organization will update that they've satisfied the program. And then if you are also a case manager of that client, I'll just keep using me of Andre, you'll get to see it only because he's connected to your org and you're his case manager too. So everybody can see it who lives in Andre's universe, right? But but not the employers.
Yeah, so
Employers don't see that.
Part two of that question is, obviously, there's so many data brokers out there in the universe.
Yes.
Some of that information is correct, some of it's not.
Yeah.
They're selling it to each other, and so is anything in your system pulling from outside sources? So if it's somebody's not
No.
here every day, okay.
No, so everything is,
Makes me happy.
I don't know, I wish I would have probably been able to bring my laptop, but you just to give you the, you can picture this in your head. When you go on Untapped Solutions, you'll go to our tool called Service Solutions Hub. That one of the tools is you post your programs and services. When you post your programs and services, you now will have a dashboard of applicants and referrals. As you get an applicant, means I just applied. A referral means your partner here just sent you a referral, and that's you, the human being who has accepted. So we're not going to pull anything. And then as you accept Andre to the system for your program, the system will see that you put them in a 6-month program, and we'll be able to read at their progress in your system and communicate that back to the other org that referred them to you. But you'll get to put what data you want in that. Like none of your clients, like Social Security, any other stuff, only program outcomes, right? That kind of stuff.
So, as you know, I came from the probation side of reentry, and I work very closely with Beatrice. So if I refer someone who's actively on supervision, and I refer them to Beatrice for assistance with resume writing, you know, job skills, getting them ready, and then to kind of partner on getting employed. If she puts notes in the system, they're actively attending a class, or they're, you know, and that's gonna be a 3-day class or a 3-week class, or if they have something that they're doing on my end that needs to be completed prior to moving on to something on her end, are we able to interact directly with one another?
Yeah, you guys can. You guys will have a team, as long as you guys are under the same umbrella, right, organization, you're under the team, you guys can see each other's caseloads, you can put a task for.
Different organizations though.
Different
Right.
organizations. Oh, so if you're under different
So
organizations.
if I'm with
Like,
probation and
she's
she's
with
with
probation.
career source.
Correct, I'm with
Gotcha.
the
Different.
workforce.
Can I actively see what is being done on her end, so I can report back for myself, but also to
Gotcha.
the probation
So now I get your
officer?
question. So the only thing you can see, so if you refer an outside organization, she has to modify what she gives to you. And she has to be an admin at her org. Like Rebecca has to be the exec and has to approve, like, okay, they're gonna want, we approved this client, we're taking them. Now they can see that we've approved the client, but if you want more data other than program progress, then you're gonna have to communicate that with the organization, and they have to put that in, but it won't come naturally. The only thing that comes naturally, is just program data, like, here, Tiffany, client has been accepted, they start on, day 1 has been started, and then you'll know, like, if it's a 90-day program, in 30 days, you'll be able to see, like, they're still there, they didn't drop off, or they'll go into the drop-off box if they've dropped off and left that program. Anything else that you want harder, then that has to be communicated with her, and then she has to, like, do that, and then that's when you're gonna start pushing a couple buttons, basically.
Right.
Cause if on that administrative aspect of it, right,
Mhm.
for me, I can put in the notes that allow her to see those notes, correct?
So only if you guys like set the account up like that. So that's more of our like enterprise software too as well. We would want to know like, hey, this is how we're gonna think. You would tell us that when we met, hey, you're gonna want that, and we would make sure that you get that inside your system. Like an employer, for another example, employer said, hey, I only want to work with certain community-based orgs, and we have a list. We want to invite them to Untapped. We want a button that lets us invite them, so we only get their applicants to our jobs. Great, cool, it's something we already do, but those, again, something that doesn't come naturally with the platform. You tell us, and we'll put that feature in. But yes, it is one of the things we do, so you guys, case managers and social workers, can communicate better with each other.
Would that handle any required, authorizations or releases of information from?
Yeah.
From your part,
From
so
organization
per
to
client,
another.
yes, each client, then every time you release it, and if she's an admin, then it's gonna be still more simpler, like, hey, I'm releasing Jane Doe's information to you, Jane Doe will get the opt-in, again, through their Untapped Solutions portal. Once they opt in, all is great, and you'll do it one time per client. You won't have to, like, every time you send something, it's just one time, and the client will see for a period how long you're gonna be sharing their information, so it's not infinite, right? We wanna protect the client, so it's 90 days, but you can change that to like 120 days, and the client will be notified. What's going on, brother?
So this acts as a CRM, the same way that you would have your caseload uploaded. Do you also have like a roster for, say, job partners that you've got in the community, people that you can communicate with through the
Yeah.
platform?
So you can have companies that you want to keep in your community. You can have what we call under partner solutions tool, premier partners. So like, hey, I just like Lowe's and Home Depot. It's my favorite people. Then you can just make them a partner. So that way, every time you have a client that goes unemployed, then that's your permit. You'll see those jobs first, right? Those are your partners and stuff like that. And then we're trying to figure out more cool ways to like keep the relationship inside Untapped Solutions, but give you more things that you may want to do with the employer, such as like be able to tell if an employer has a CSR department, right? And then make sure maybe you want to talk with them. CSR is where you can get their corporate social dollars for your community. So that's anything that can help nonprofits, right? Get more dollars, but also we want to make sure the employer finds value, and CSR are typically looking for the best of you guys. So here you go. We just solidify the relationship. So as of right now, you can just make them your premier employer partner, and then we're thinking of things we can release in the future.
And you're able to communicate with those employment partners?
Yeah, so all of these people, if you're from an organization, you guys can all communicate with the employers in it.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the donor platform and the volunteer coordinator that looks like you guys have coming out soon?
Yeah, so the donor and volunteer coordination is just simple. That's in like a beta stage. It's really just like store your volunteers, store your donors. We'll accumulate data on like who gives you the most money often and all that good stuff. But that's not our focus. As a company, our focus is your clients. And that's our main thing. So that's just mainly a beta storage for nonprofits. We're not really doing anything as of right now with that. Any other questions? Also, what's going on, my man?
Nothing much. How you doing now? More like a comment than a quick question. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
I didn't realize how interactive Untapped Solutions is with other providers. And in this work, we from the social work, social services, social work field, so we have to communicate, and when things are detached, it's hard to exist. But I have a general question. When people work for organizations, they may have bigger budgets and they can get funding to get software.
Yeah.
But my question is for the grassroots organizations, those who are trying to start out. And most times it comes, one of the hardest things with being a nonprofit is funding.
Yep.
Through your professional experience, besides for like little local small grants, do you think that a nonprofit can get a reasonable amount of funding through a grant without having capital?
No. So, and I'll talk on that, but no, and I should have spoke on that too as well. So no, there's no way, right, if for like grassroots orgs, without data, then you are saying to yourself and to your team and to your org that you would like to stay grassroots forever. If that's your thing, then that is your thing. But I want to assume that like when we started as a very small one person with a dream and $2,000, that we wanted to grow big, and I'm assuming you, all of your grassroots, you'd like to grow big too as well. The only way to get that is not just having data on like a spreadsheet, right? And we'll get real, a spreadsheet like, oh, my clients and then their needs and services. That's not data, it's just a spreadsheet. That's why it's called a spreadsheet, right? Those kind of things, you're not gonna get that grants. This kind of grants you're gonna get with that. Initial one-time grants that give you 200,000, 100,000, 50,000, but the one-time grants, when you wanna get to like, hey, how do I grow my team, AKA grow my impact in my community, that takes some real money, right? So, you know, over $1 million, we wanna get out of that grassroots stage. You need data on your client's impact, their outcomes, where they're coming from, how you're getting them, how you're serving them, and so many, just everything in the gamut, right? For those big time funders. But as Oswald said, these databases are very, very expensive. Yep.
Okay, so I got 2 more questions now. But they'll be short. So really the question I'm asking is educational, because even the question I asked them, I already knew the answer to. I think organizations underestimate the value of what they need to grow. One question I have, and this will be a quick one. Does Untapped Solution have an app? If I'm out in the field working and I'm dealing with some clients, is there a way for me to be interactive with the app? I need to capture a case note on the field while I'm moving. Does it have an app attached to it?
We work on all devices, and we don't do it through an app, so that way it's like no storage sticking up on the phone or anything like that.
Wow.
We store it on your phone and it will sit like an app, but you don't have to go to the app store to do it. So when we onboard, or like when you get grassroots CRM in your documentation, or if you say, hey, we're gonna be in the field, it works on all devices, from your cell phone to a tablet. You can capture notes. A client can call you and say, I just lost my job. Can you do a quick referral for me? And you can pop on a referral, but you can do 100% of what you can do on a laptop, on your phone, or in the field.
Okay, that's great to know. Okay, and I forgot my other question. The last thing was this. Y'all can customize this to procure it to the organization a little bit.
When you say like, oh yeah, to like to make sure it's like custom.
So whatever we do, because like I asked that because I know someone that's listed on 211. Her phone rang left and right, and she was one of the ones who felt she doesn't need an adapter. I'm saying, listen, you got your phone ringing talking about ID, talking about housing, you running people to DMVs. So there's a lot that goes on with her. Can y'all customize a way to check off and say, yeah, I help them get their ID, this many.
Yeah, 100%.
Down to the food pantry, addressing food insecurities. I mean, can you kind of, I'm not being overly elaborate, but in the general thing that's.
I see what you're saying though. Yeah, but that's I want to say that's a simple part of a CRM, right? Being able to just check off as you meet something for your client, like, oh, they had a need, check it off. Very easy. To elaborate on what you just said, that's the grassroots mentality, goes in like the ambition of any entrepreneur hey, I'm gonna be a go-getter, and they get caught up in the impact, driving people to the DMV, securing IDs, and then they get caught up in the good feeling of helping people and not realizing that you're only helping very few people, right? And you'd like to probably help more people because it goes to the amount of people that you need to help versus the people helping. So how do you do it? Database. So 100% Oswald.
Thank you.
She has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, speaking my language, I'm a data analyst for 25 years. We've been on Red. I work with Rebecca, Jackie Dunn.
Jackie, what's up?
Good to see you in person. And so what kind of, I know you said, you know, data and being able to measure what you're doing and the successes of that, obviously very important in everything we all are doing, to coincide with the stories. But, what kind of reporting opportunities do you have through Untapped? Do you use like, you know, visualization tools like Tableau or Power BI or any of that kind of stuff? Or how do you bring it all together on the back end, for people that are using, the services?
Got you. So we don't, unfortunately, for like the database part, don't use any like third party like Tableau or anything like that. Just something that we're a Google company. They're our lead investors. They don't want to, like if they don't own the product, we don't use it or any of those kind of things. So we do data in two ways. All client data, right? It's and visualization based on what kind of CRM you're on with us, like Root CRM versus, let's just say there's Roots, there's Untapped CRM, right? The Roots, the smaller orgs, Untapped, you're just past a certain threshold, but it's all visualized data, or you can go per client, right? Sometimes there's been a focus, like, hey, maybe this one client is like, really somebody I need to focus on, I need to keep tracking this individualized data, and I want exports monthly, bi-weekly, any of those things. Or I just want my regular reports pulled monthly. Or you can go into your impact report. Your impact report will show you like your predictive analytics too as well, and all that good stuff. And I just wish I would have had my laptop to like just go in and show you guys like how it sort of looks. I do have tests, but again, I'll give you guys these things that I have here, and you guys will be able to see the stuff. It will walk you through all of it and everything as well. But it is visualization data, your predictive analytics live in your impact report, and we do have a feature that allows you to just focus on single client. Like you can pick these 3 clients, and they're very important. Maybe what I'm seeing is used for special needs clients. So hey, I need these reports every week on like things that's going on. So those are the 2 ways of how we do it. Does that answer your question, Jackie?
Yeah, it does. I mean, one of the studies that I've been doing just on my own through my little just me nonprofit is recidivism research and trying to focus on the people that don't recidivize, because no one seems to care about those, you know, as heavily as they do about the people that do, especially in the corrections world and government and all that. But so it'd be cool to be able to like tie it back to those with lived experience and all these, you know, people that have these opportunities. It also led to break the barriers of reentry that, you know, that are the reason why they did recidivize, which is, you know, kind of a miracle these days when people can get out of prison. So just from that perspective, like how to tout it, like, and shout it to the mountaintops, that these are the kind of things that add to the, you know, the 75% Florida that don't recidivize.
Yep.
So.
Thank you for that question too as well.
Can you run your own really specific individualized reports, or is that something that we need to communicate with Untapped to be able to do?
When you say individualized call.
So like, let's say, you know, we've already set this database up, I already have these monthly reports coming in of exactly, you know, how many people we're serving, whatever. But what if, for whatever reason, I need to look at something really individualized, like how many people we refer to blank?
Your referrals, yes.
How many, you know, like, not everything, like how many people did I refer to this specific organization, or how many people did I refer with food insecurities, or, you know what I mean? Like,
I see exactly what you mean. Every outcome, anything you can do, such as like around referrals, you can track, and you can do individualized reports. So you can get a report on the amount of referrals you've done to X entity, or just referrals overall that you've done for the month or week.
Right.
Yeah, so you can look at those type of individualized. So there's like your impact, your client journey data, that's considered your client journey data, and you can check into that and see how that's looking, as well as your referrals on like your inbound referrals that you're getting from these, and then see like, oh, who's sending me the most? You know, what do those orgs look like?
Nice. Okay, cool.
Any other questions? All good. That ends my presentation.
There's no more questions.